Cases like Teshima's, where the waste is removed, are extremely rare, and most sites are in a state of neglect that is beyond redress. At present, there are 2,670 reported cases of illegal dumping in Japan. In an effort to foster manufacturing and consumption that takes the disposal of a product into account, in the year 2000, the government began advocating reduction, reuse, and recycling. The Home Appliance Recycling Law obliged consumers to pay for the disposal of 7 kinds of household appliances, including televisions, refrigerators, air conditioners, and washing machines, and required the manufacturers of these products to salvage all recyclable resources. Currently, more than 10 million household appliances are collected via this recycling route every year. At this appliance recycling plant, more than 80% of the plastic, metals, and other materials are retrieved from old appliances and used in the production of new products. As manufacturers have become responsible for recycling, they are now designing their products so that they can be recycled more easily. Making up 30% of the total, some 20 million tons of raw garbage are disposed of annually. Some of this has not even been opened. In the mid-1970s, Toyohashi and other cities began to use raw waste to make compost. But because there was little demand for this compost, many of these efforts ended in failure.
It doesn't work unless recycling and the use of materials is part of a continuously revolving and sustainable cycle. We can't just put our energy into recycling. Even when we know how to recycle our trash, until we have a system that makes use of these recycled products, it doesn't matter how hard we try.
In keeping with the food recycling law, businesses that were disposing of large quantities of raw waste were required to reduce their food waste by 20%. This legislation resulted in the birth of new ventures. This facility in Chiba Prefecture collects food waste from approximately 1,100 urban convenience stores and supermarkets. This is then used to make compost and feed for livestock. Plastics, packaging, and other foreign substances are removed carefully by hand. This is mixed with manure, allowed to ferment, and sold to farmers as compost. In communication with farmers, compost and feed for livestock are aggressively promoted. In a pointed departure from the recycling of raw waste in the past, this company has established a food loop which actively sells vegetables that have been produced using compost. Only when farmers use compost and when consumers buy their produce, only then does the business of recycling succeed. But is massive recycling enough to achieve a self-sustaining society?
It can't just be recycling. We have to pursue the other 2 R's diligently. We have to reduce and reuse. We must design our lives such that we use only the things we truly need. It's not as if we'll have these natural resources forever, so we have to use things in such a way that they will last longer. When we coordinate all 3 R's, that is when a sustainable society becomes possible. But as long as mass production, mass sales, and mass consumption are the key to our economic success, as long as this is the focus of our economic system, it will be difficult for us to achieve sustainability.
Professor Takatsuki has long used manga to teach about environmental problems. His comics show present-day mass production society. People are recycling in earnest, and yet the cities overflow with products that are being produced in quick succession. The comics make an appeal for reduced production, suggesting, wouldn't it be better to simply turn off the taps? Recycling alone will not solve the problem. While Japan has made advances in recycling, mass production continues. And despite an increase in the input of recycled materials, the consumption of new natural resources has not been reduced. Everything that accumulates ultimately becomes trash that must be disposed of. With this in mind, we must find a way to produce and consume that does not merely create another island of waste.